Hello guys, welcome to another lesson again with Emmy John. Today we're going to be talking about the function of the dominant chord as I promised in the last lesson. So what are the functions of the dominant chord? We all know the dominant chord is a seventh chord found among the types of chords. In the chord family, chords are divided into two, chord quality and chord quantity. We are going to discuss all that perhaps in future lessons. So without wasting so much time, let's dive into the function of the dominant chord. On the function of each of the chords in the key, especially in the key of C, every root, every first note is always a major, the second is always a minor, the third is always a minor, the fourth is always a major, the five is always a dominant, the six is always a minor, the seven is always a half diminished, and then the seven is always a major. If there are people who don't have understanding of this, in future lessons, I can do a breakdown, sharply indicate in the comment section. Then I can do a breakdown teaching the chord classes, with both the quantity and quality of each of the chords, and then how to create them. So today we're only dealing mainly on dominant chords. How do we build them? First, what is the function of a dominant chord? How do we use them? And then how do we add extensions to them? Let's dive straight to it. The function of the dominant chord is simply a 5 chord I want to resolve to a 1. So it means that whenever I see a dominant chord, I'm thinking of a 5 chord I want to resolve down to a 1. So the function of every G is to go down to a C major 7. Because in the chord, in the diatonic key order, it's only the 5 key that was a dominant. The rest were either major or minor or half diminished, like the B. So the 5 is only the dominant. So the only true dominant is only the 5 chord. So therefore, whenever I hold the dominant chord of F sharp, it's resolving down to a B major 7. If I hold the dominant chord of E, it's resolving down to A minor or A major. That's a little bonus again. When you hold down a dominant chord, its function, it could resolve down to a minor 7 or a major 7, depending on your choice of song and maybe the progression of the song you are playing at that moment. That's where the understanding of a major and a minor 2-5-1 comes in. Major 2-5-1, minor 2-5, minor 2-1 come in. In future lessons, we can talk about all this. So, we have known the function of a dominant chord as a 5 chord that resolves to a 1. Second, how do we use them? We use them as our saw going to the 1, or as our 5 to the 1, 5 to the 1. Example, if I'm playing a very simple song, as Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So, you see what dominant chord, 5 chord. Now let's resolve to the 1. So that's it. So every 5 chord resolve to 1. That's how we use it. Now, lastly, how do we add extensions to them? The word extension simply means adding quantity to your chord, making it rich and richer. So now, every dominant 7th chord is already a 7th chord. Every dominant chord is already a 7th chord already. As I said, dominant 7 is already a 7th chord. In some cases, you may hear of C7 or C dominant. The two is talking about the same chord. So a 7th chord is a dominant chord, except specified like C major 7, C augmented 7, C diminished 7. But when you just see a C7, when you just see a 7th chord, it's a dominant chord. Like C7 is this. Why? Because of the presence of the root, major third, perfect fifth, and minor 7 forms a dominant chord. And its work or function is to resolve down to F major 7. Either F major or F minor. When I mean 7, it's just an extension. Okay. Now, since we know that the G7 chord it's already a 7th chord already. So therefore, other extensions remaining is the 9, 11, and 13. How do we build the 9, 11, and 13? The simple trick is this. Once you hold your root chord, which tells us the key, the 3 and the 7 is there. You can add any extension you want. That's all. Very simple. Abi? That's very simple. So, when we have the root chord, the 3 and the 7, just add your 9 to it. Because in the key of G, this is the 9. I'm using the key of C major because G is the 5. So I'm resolving everything I'm trying to resolve is down to either C major or C minor. But I'm using more of the key of C major. So when I do this, so this is a G9 or G dominant 9, resolving down to C major 9. Why is this a G9? Because of the presence of the 3 and the 7. Therefore, I just added my 9 to it, which is the section I wanted to create. How do we add 11 to it? Same thing goes here. So this is a G dominant 11. Why? Because of the presence of the 3 and the 7. And then the 11 is just there. This is just the root, and this is just the 5. And it resolves down to the same thing as a 1. How do I create my 13? 13 is simply created by holding the 3 and the 7 and then adding your 13 to it. In the key of G, 13th is E. E is the 13th. So 13. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is a G 13th chord. I'm holding down my G and F over B, E, and A as my G 13th chord, resolving down to C major 13. So again, and I love this melody a lot. So I can do how I wonder what you are. So you see how I just added this 13th into my playing. So it means that to make your chord more richer and more interesting, like the big sound you want, is just to master your extensions. Your extension gives you power to application of different colors. So when I add voices like this, not knowing just a 13th chord. So that is just how it works. So thank you, and a little bonus tip is that you can change the position of each of these chords. There is no rule that it must just a G9 must always be like this. You can change the position in any way. Example, I can do this. Why? Because I have my 3 and my 7 in the chord, therefore I can add a 9. I don't need to jump too far. I can just add a 9 to it. But provided your 3 and your 7 is in the chord, else it becomes a suspended chord. We'll talk about that in the future lesson. So when I have my 3 and my 7, I can add a 9. So this becomes a G9. I want to resolve also to C major again. So if you master your extensions very well, you find out that you have different possibilities. You don't need to be cloned to a particular movement. It must not be cloned that it must just be this that goes to the 1. Once you master your voices very well, you discover that you can use this. You can use this for your 1. Therefore, you have different possibilities to end in your chords. Thank you, and God bless you. For those who have not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then let's take it further from here. There are a lot of lessons coming to you from drop to tritone, diminish applications, and lots more. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe and share.